Batemans Bay, like so many other places around Australia, has so many different nationalities represented and people who've chosen to call Australia home.
Yeah, we love living in Australia. It's different lifestyle. We came to Australia about 17 years ago. Initially.
Sorry, who came 17 years ago?
We came to.
You came. So who's you?
My husband and I.
Yes.
Yeah, came to Australia 17 years ago. But initially, I just wanted to study in Australia for a short period of time. And after graduation, we thought, we would like to stay a little bit longer. So we applied for permanent residency. And luckily, we have got that after, I think, in 2008. Yeah, so now I have a good job and I have 2 kids, very beautiful kids, and we have enjoyed living the Australian way of life, which is, I think, very laid back and a comfortable life. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and why Batemans Bay? It's very laid back here.
Well, yeah, it is.
Especially Monday to Friday. It's getting a little bit busier now.
Yes. Well, when we firstly moved to Australia, we lived in Wollongong, and I studied and graduated and worked in Wollongong for probably 10 years. And I got a better job opportunity down here.
Okay.
That's the reason why we moved to Batemans Bay. And it was a great change. I'm pretty grateful that we have made the change. Yeah, it's a nice community, and people are so friendly and kind.
So how long have you been here in Batemans Bay?
Probably nearly 6 years.
Yeah. What are 2 things that you really like about Batemans Bay?
The environment, because you can see, when you drive from Sydney to here, no matter where you go, you can see the beach all the time, and the ocean view is great. And also people. I found the people here are a little bit different from people I live with in Wollongong. I haven't lived in Sydney yet, but I think people down here focus on their personal life a little bit more. For instance, they want to have like a work-life balance instead of working all the time. Because for example, in the company I work in, which is the aged care sector, 90% of employees are part-time or casuals, which means they have they at least have like 2-3 days for their own time to be with their families. So people not like only focusing on making money down here. I think that's great.
Yeah, and it's only taken me 10 minutes to get anywhere I need to be down here.
Yeah.
So that's very different from me. I live in Sydney.
Yeah.
And if I've got to go to the other side of the city, I have to allow a good length of time. Yeah. And it's not fun.
The downside of living in Batemans Bay for us is a little bit further distance from Sydney Airport.
Yes.
Yeah, like 4 hours driving from here to Sydney. If we need to go back to China to see our parents, it's have to take 4 hours on the road, and then
So both you and your husband, your parents are still living?
Yeah. So both our parents are in China. Because of COVID, they are not able to come, and we are not able to go back. So we haven't seen each other for probably 4 years. Yeah, but we see them on the phone, like the WeChat all the time. And they meet the kids, especially when my girl was born. Like she is 4 now, and they haven't got a chance to see my girl yet. So we want to go back, but maybe not a good time now. So
which part of China are you and your husband's family from?
I was born in a small town located in northeast of China. It's cold in winter, very cold. Now it's the winter because opposite season. The weather in winter could be minus 30 degrees. That's why I love the weather in Australia. It's so warm. Even in winter, you can't feel it's winter. It's like spring in China. So it's a very small town. We grew up. So tell me a little bit about what life was like for you growing up in China. But when we were growing up, pretty much study was the only thing. And not only during school period, also the school holiday, you have to study. So when I looked back, I think I spent lots of time on studying. But my childhood was good because my parents were very, very good. They did like some parents like force the kids to study. You have to study, mathematics, piano, lots of different things. My parents were pretty good. They said, well, do whatever you like. Yes, just find the things you like, enjoy your childhood. So when I look back, I think I was pretty lucky. Yeah, I had the life that I have been wanting to have.
Did you have any siblings, or were you part of the one child policy?
Yes, yeah, I'm the only one child in my family, and my husband the same. Yeah, because my mom's generation, well, my generation, when I was born like 40 years ago, there was only one child policy.
Yes.
Yeah, very strict policy.
Yes.
So everyone, pretty much one child, in their family.
Yeah. So.
But now it's changed.
I'm sorry?
Now it's changed. The government has changed the policy
Yes.
in terms of how many kids you can have. I remember somebody told me that like 10 years ago, they said you could have 2 if you like. But now people told me that you can have 3 kids if you like. So they have tried to encourage people to have more children. And also another thing is that people nowadays don't want to have many children because of the living cost. Because everything is very expensive. Even though you only have 1 kid, it's not quite easy to pay everything. Especially if you want to send your kids to good school. Depends on how much money you can save. So that's why people, even though the policy say yes, you can have 2 or 3, not many people choose to do that. Yeah, and also other like the properties are very expensive down there. Majority people, the 3 generations save the money that is saved by 3 generations would be able to afford for buying 1 property down there. So the financial difficulties and the pressures, I think, are still the concerns for lots of Chinese people.
So if you compare your daughter's here in Batemans Bay and her schooling and her lifestyle to what things were like for you at the same age back in your town, what differences do you see?
I think my kids are receiving better education because I talk to the teachers sometimes. I found that the teachers and the schools have been encouraging the students to develop their personal interests. Like they encourage them to think and develop, and not to tell them what they need to do. So it's I think the way of education is different. Like when I was young, personally I think students are told by the teachers what to do, what should be doing. But here, students have freedom to do whatever they want. At least they can develop their like the creativity skills. Yeah, and they just I think that's what they should do. Like when they are young, they should have the opportunity to think what they want to do, not like what you are told to do. I think that's the very grateful for parents to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly a cultural difference and partly a generational difference. When I was at school in Australia, there was more of being told what to do.
Really? Oh, okay.
But I hear what you're saying. But I do think there's both the cultural difference and the generational difference.
Yeah.
Just things were different in Australia. But we had a lot of fun, and it wasn't study.
Right.
And I think that's a difference, isn't it?
So you didn't have much pressure to go to the good school.
No, well, I didn't. Maybe someone in a different suburb or different family environment, maybe they had pressure.
Right.
But not where I grew up. There wasn't much pressure.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, I think just maybe the less population in here. Not many, the competition is not that intense. But in China it's different because of the larger population. If you want to be, better than others, you have to study really hard when very young to be able to go to better school. Like, the primary school in China has 6 years, and the middle school 3 years, high school 3 years, university 4 years, and postgraduate 3 years.
Yeah.
So if you want to study all the way from primary school to, getting a master's degree, that's a long journey, and you have to work and study really hard when you're very young.
So when your kids come home from school now and say they don't have any homework,
that's right.
What do you say? Okay, or do you give them work to do?
Well, at this stage, because I think they're still young, because my son is nearly 7, I think he's still very young. I want them to have freedom, like to choose what they want to do. But so I don't force them to do anything at this stage.
Yeah.
So they pretty much just play after coming back from school and watch TV if you like, or they do like watching TV, and also do some crafts and the Legos by themselves. Yeah, but if I think in pretty much like 3-5 years time, if I think they need to spend a little bit more time on studying, I would tell them, like set aside like 1 hour or half an hour at least after school, just to
like
study.
Any good parent would. Very good. So you went to university firstly in China?
Yes.
And what did you graduate with?
I got my bachelor degree, so bachelor management, but my major was accounting. And I chose to continue to learn accounting in Australia.
So you came and you did your master's?
Yeah, I graduated from Wollongong University with a Master of Professional Accounting degree.
Okay.
Yeah, and I became a CPA probably 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I like accounting, and I've been working in the commercial environment for 14, 15 years. Still enjoy doing my job. Yeah, I'm prepared to retire here. It's good environment to retire.
Was your English as good as it is now when you first came to Australia 17 years ago?
No, because in China the education system is different. People learned English when they are very young, but people pretty much focus on reading and writing more than speaking and listening. So when I came to Australia initially, I was able to understand what people were talking about, but if I talked by myself, like it wasn't fluently. Yeah, so I think it's about practicing. Yeah, you have to practice, you have to meet people, being in this community, in the working environment. So gradually, your English will be better.
And how did you meet your husband?
We were classmates.
Okay.
Yeah, we were
At school?
At school in China, yeah. So we met each other a long time ago, I think. When I was 19, yeah. And we got married when I was 25. So 7 years after, we know each other, we got married. And then 1 year later, we came to Australia together. We've been together for over 20 years. Very long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
The original intent was just to come and do some further study on a student visa and then return. Yes, yeah. And what changed?
I think the lifestyle and also the natural sceneries are very attractive to us, because I love living in a peaceful place. I'm not a city person, and I got a job opportunity and I started working, and gradually I thought the life here was very easy compared with the life in China.
苏北勾勒出情话，被风弄转淡，平生描绘的牡丹，一如你梳妆，冉冉檀香透过窗，心事我了然，宣纸上走笔至此各一半，釉色渲染仕女图，韵味别私藏，而你嫣然的一笑如含苞待放，你的美一缕飘散，去到我去不了的地方。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。炊烟袅袅升起，隔江千万里。在平地树根里放前朝的飘逸，就当我为遇见你伏笔。天青色等烟雨，而我在等你。月色被打捞起，晕开了结局。如传世的情话，字字故字美丽，你眼的笑意。
And the bushfire must have been a bit of a shock. You didn't see or experience bushfire before?
No, that was our first time to experience this. I call it disaster. It was happened really quick. And we lived in North Batemans Bay at that time, and we were lucky because our property was close to the petrol station, and the fire station just tried their best to protect the petrol station, and our property was in this zone, and so we were protected.
Right.
Yeah, protected as well. But that was shocking, I think. Because I remember my girl was only half a year old at that time, and we were doing something in the bedroom, and when we came out, it was dark. But that was during the day, like 12 o'clock during the day, but outside it was dark. And people said, you need to get out. And we just went out, and everywhere was dark, and you can smell the smoke badly. And we just get in the car, and my husband was driving. And when I looked back to the bridge, I thought, oh my God, it's like the end of the world. Everything was black. It's scary. To be honest, it was scary. Yeah, and you see people were waiting, on the beach because lots of people, left their home, and people. Good thing is that people help each other. They did their best to help each other. Like for people who have lost their homes, they don't have enough food or something, and people in the community just donate lots of things to them, or even invite them to come to their house to stay. Yeah, so you can see, in the difficulty period, people help each other a lot, which is fantastic. I have worked for companies since I started working, and I see, because from being a junior accountant to a finance manager, the more you know, the more you can help others. And the reason why I like my current job is that I work for the aged care sector, which is to manage the elderly people's financials. So I think this job is very valuable job because you can help the residents and their families. The average age of our residents is about 85 years old, and their children, I think, probably 50 or 55 or 60 years old. And they don't have much knowledge and experience in terms of dealing with this financial paperwork, and not having like a better understanding of what they need to pay, or lots of financial things. So as accountant, I'm able to provide them with lots of useful information and answer their questions, their concerns. I think that's the amazing opportunity.
Yes.
And I've been feeling very grateful for having this opportunity to help the elderly people and their families.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great service. I mean, as someone who is in the 55 to 60 range, and with parents the age that you're talking about, and the complexity of looking at your estate, and do you sell, do you move into a home, do you this, do you that? There's so many things that have to be thought about.
That's right. Well, yeah, because I'm not the financial advisor, but I can't give the financial advice, but at least I can show some financial information to them by explaining what this terminology, by using easy words to make them have a better understanding. Like if you are moving to the home, this is how much you pretty much need to pay, and what's the ongoing payment, and and what's the best way. For instance, like you mentioned, if you're going to sell your house, to pay the lump sum to us, or you keep your house to pay the debt, which is the basic daily fee, and plus the daily accommodation contribution, which way is better from the financial point of view. I think just it's a very meaningful job.
Do you connect with the Chinese community here in Batemans Bay, or it doesn't matter to you, or what does it mean to continue being Chinese in Australia?
It matters us a lot. We do have a few Chinese friends locally, and we catch up pretty much every week, because they two of the families got young kids as well, my son's age, and the kids want to play together, and we got a chance to talk with each other as well. So yeah, I think having people from the same countries are very good from our point of view, and we can talk in Chinese. Obviously, don't have to talk in English all the time, and also we can share some information about China. Like for instance, if COVID now is policy is changing in China, we can have a discussion about what it means to you. Like, are you going back to China? And if so, how long are you going to stay? And are you coming back? So and so forth. It's just different things you have. Like when you talk to people who can speak in Chinese, it's like family. It's different. It's like you talk with your families. So I love having some people, Chinese people around, and we celebrate not Christmas together, but Chinese New Year.
Yes.
Yeah, every day, every year. Not every day. I hope every day. So every year, New Year, we celebrate the festival together. So we pretty much have like 10 people. Yeah, we either come to my place or go to their place. We just love having this celebration.
Chinese New Year. What's next year? The year
in January. The year next year is gonna be, what's that? A rabbit?
The year of the rabbit.
Yeah, the year of rabbit. Yeah.
But you celebrate Christmas as well.
We do.
I can see the tree there, and the presents. Do you celebrate Christmas in China as well?
When I was young, no, but now I think yes.
Yeah, right.
When I was young, not many people celebrated the Western festivals, but now things have changed significantly. Yeah, people, they pretty much celebrate every Western festivals nowadays. Yeah.
Is it important for you as a mother and as a Chinese mother to help your children to understand their origins?
Yes. So I think at this stage, in my eyes, they are still young, and I haven't talked too much about the Chinese culture and history, whatever. But I said in the house, you need to speak in Chinese so that they can practice their Chinese, because that's my worry. They will make lots of friends here and they talk in Chinese in house, and then that's the only way they can improve their Chinese. Otherwise they will forget in the future. So at the moment I just say, you talk Chinese with with your mom, and try to talk Chinese with your brother, sister. Sometimes I found when the two of them talk with each other, they talk in English, not Chinese. Yeah. So I think I emphasize a few times, talk to each other in Chinese. Yeah. Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's different. Maybe because maybe they are so young. I don't know. They still couldn't handle the two languages properly. Yeah, sometimes I say, sorry, I can't understand. I don't understand. You need to talk to me in Chinese, otherwise mom doesn't understand.
Are there things that are difficult to express in English?
Yeah, lots of things. I think because English is not our first language. Lots of things are not quite easy to be explained in English. So when I don't. Sometimes, tell you something. When I read the stories to my kids, if the stories are English, some words I couldn't understand, and I have to look up the dictionary to find answers for them, because they ask me, "Mom, what does it mean?" And say, "Sorry, I don't know. I have to find it for you." Yeah. So even you think the children's book, they're not that simple. Yeah. So I think gradually there will be more things, become more difficult to explain in English for us. But we are learning, just like the kids are learning, we are learning as well.
Yeah. Have you experienced what could be called prejudice or racism here in Australia?
No.
You're allowed to say yes.
No, I think no. The people we have met and the things we have heard are very, very positive. Yeah. So and I said I work full time. In my spare time, I don't have much time to, look at, what's going on outside. And my husband probably is different, because he is interested in knowing more about this, watching lots of news and, give me different opinions. But for me, I'm not very interested in that kind of things. So I would say all I have heard and have known, I've noticed are very positive. I haven't seen any negative, you know.
So 10, 20 years from now, your kids are grown up or growing up. What's your hope for them as Australian Chinese citizens?
Well, I don't have too high expectations for them. I think as long as they feel happy, because life is going to be, well, I think life compared with people living in China is very easy here. You don't have to go to university, but you can have a good job. You don't have to make lots of money, but you can also have a very, very good life. But in China, you know, the financial pressure is different. That's why people have to do what they need to do. But here, I just want my kids to be happy, do what they want to do. Like if they want to travel, just do it. Doesn't matter if they have to, you know, take 2 years off after graduation from high school. Just do, you know, travel. And then if you decide to come back to school, you know, to study, just do it. Just like, you know, I think we just hope them to be happy. Doesn't matter what they do. They're just being supportive. I think that's what I've learned from my parents. They have been really, really supportive. That's why some people ask me, you know, what did your parents say when you chose to move out of China and move to a country which is far, far away from China? I said, well, my parents, you know, they have been really, really supportive. And I don't know why they trust me all the time, but they just did all the time. Yeah, which is great. Not lots of parents can do that in China. So I think I want to do the same thing to my kids. Do like to be supportive. Yeah, that's the only thing I can do.